All right, this is going to be an exploration in Conjure. Let's make one of my mech arms. So let's see. Let's hide. Let's just hide. Well, let's hide our Conjure. Well, actually, we can hide it like this. Let's go to let's just go ahead and just real quick. What I'm doing is I'm going to make a proxy arm first. And so this is like the shoulder area here, up here. And I just want to have the proper proportions. That way you're not getting lost when dealing with some of the different aspects of Conjure. All right, that's the upper arm. That's about the length of it. And this will be the lower arm here. Okay, I just want to have a let's go with edges here. I'm just gonna start to indicate a little bit where the elbow is, just as a guide. It's like a proxy guide. And this pull out for the palm. Oh, Blender is not Moto. Sorry. Oh, selecting all over the place. Okay. All right. Blender's alive. Moto as a developed software is dead, but it doesn't matter since sub D doesn't change. Sub D doesn't change. Sub D's been the same way since Lightwave, MetaNerbs, and also soft homages, subdivision surfaces, which is I prefer that. Well, you know, if you use that or Maya, it's the same, roughly the same game. By the way, and I'm tempted to use Moto for this recording, so I can be more in the flow. But let me see if I can just simplify it. It's important that your tools allow you to work intuitively, you know, where you're not thinking about the tool or the tool is not limiting you, which is different. So like, which is actually ironic since we're going to be in Conjure. And because of working with like hard surface type of, well, you can get it to be soft, but generally it's like you're working like a machinist, right? So you have all these, you have all the shape limitations and stuff, which is natural for anything that's going to be, that you would expect to be built in real world. But it's not, for me, it's not intuitive yet. As far, not the funk, I like how I have this set up when you see it rolling. But there's always that nice pause of like, okay, so if to cut this shape, I have to use this shape, which is kind of cool. I actually like that's great visualization style exercises. So as I continue to do this now, okay, so upper arm, lower arm, palm area. I guess this video is going to have a lot of parts to it. All right, palm area. I want to have, let's just pull for a thumb. Let me save this thing first. And these aren't tutorials, these are more walkthroughs of the stuff I'm working on, my personal stuff. So let's go ahead and call it conj. mech arm. Okay. That worked. All right, and let's see. I just want to have. We're gonna pull all that back up again. Just go ahead and just start to create a what will be a thumb area. Don't do that. Let me thumb area. It's gonna be like a mechanical claw. That way I'm not gonna get too involved with how many fingers and stuff. So it'll be like a mechanical claw-ish kind of thing going on. There you go. Right. And 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay. Okay. Now we can go. No, we just keep it simple. Keep it simple. All right. So I'm just pulling out the form. We can go in and start manipulating it now. Eventually this will be like the thumb area eventually. But this is just for the block or the placeholder object. Just so we know exactly, oh, this is the shoulder, this is where the shoulder should go, this is where the elbow should go. So when we're cutting stuff up in Conjure, that we're not all over the place. As far as proportions and stuff. Let's go down with another digit. All right. And we go one more. Big long fingers, mechanical fingers. And let's go here too. And let's just shape them all in. These fingers broken. All right, let's shape it in. Let's go. Only thing I would like Blender to have is spacebar command that will toggle through, that will scroll through these guys. That will go vertex, edge, face, vertex, edge, face, or vertex, edge, polygon. Yeah, I know. Lightwave. I know. Moto. I know. Let's just pull all this in. All I want is the position, so we're not modeling. Although we don't want to be too screwed up. You know, I would never do it at an angle like this or anything like that. It would be just horrible to try to, horrible setting up the rig for it, kind of a thing. No need to create that. And we got tension all over the place. And I don't feel like dealing with Blender's tools. But let's see if we can get away with it. Maybe next time I'll just use Moto, so I feel like I'm more in a flow. Let's go ahead and bring this up. Oh, edges. Can't bury you. See, I'm hitting spacebar. That's comedy. All right, boom. Where are you? Here you go. All right, so weird alien hand thing. Let's just pull up this finger here, this claw-ish form here. Stop. Oh, don't get me wrong though, but deselect. My gosh. Blender's implementation of sub D and stuff is good. So I'm not bashing Blender or anything. Moto's more intuitive, but I'm not in Moto, so get over it. Ah, okay, there we go. We got a little alien claw, and let's just from this angle. Do we save? Yeah. Okay, good. And let's just mush in on our little guy here. Now, when we do the mechanical, when I'm doing the mechanical arm, then it seemed kind of funny because this is, you realize it, oh, so he wasn't actually doing the arm, he was actually just using it as a proxy. And it's like, yep. But gotta try to see if I can make it at least interesting. Oh, I know why too, because we need one more slot. Let's go one more digit. Hello. There you go. Across that line. In the edge here. Breathe it. I know I should need to go to edge slide, but it's just so unnatural to have to do that here. I don't want to break the mental flow. Stop. And then you say, well, why don't you move your tool commands, your GUI, so that it's not overlapping with, because it's actually the ideal size. So when I'm working like this far, like this, and then when I have the Conjure sizing tools and stuff, they fit in just perfectly. It's just not, it's optimal. It's not ideal, but it's optimal. All right, then you got a little cartoony thumb. Let's move this finger, and then we're done with this phase. Okay, selection, please. T key. Why are we not deselecting? All right, maybe that's a problem later on. All right, I'll go with that. Something like that. It's gonna be longer fingers. We're gonna wind up doing longer fingers. And let's just pull this out. It's not gonna matter. Just nitpicking. And technically, it would come straight down with the finger. So might as well just go ahead and bend this finger. Or not bend it. Here. We can do it from here. Straight line kind of thing. Actually, it's a straight line here. But let me see. Will that do it? Will that do it for what we need to do? T key. Oh my gosh. Because I have nothing selected. I know. Let's just size it in just a little bit. Not like that, dude. Let's at least get a loop up here. And let's at least... not another loop, please. T key. Alright, so this is our elbowy area. No, I don't need to draw. I don't need to cut any further. Alright, that'll work. Although, you know, if we were going full character, you know, we want division here, division there, create your actual shape and silhouette. Yada, 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 yada. But we're not. But I at least need the proxy object to be where it's not annoying me in this shape. I'll go with that. I'll go with that. All right, so let's jump on out of this thing. Let's bring our Conjure back into existence. And we got our wonky. Well, it's not that wonky. It's wonky enough. Our little cartoony arm, but it's the proper upper and lower sections length. So I'll go with that. And he's going to be 3-fingered anyway. So, all right. So let's make him unselectable. Let's just add him to a groupie here. Or he's already a group, he's sub D. So let's just lock him out. Conjure's active, he's not active. So the very first thing I'm thinking is let's he's gonna have, well, based on my mech arm. Like I guess what drawing is that, like mech 6 or something. It has like a circular top, so let's see if we can get a good blend on that. Blend meaning like shape. That's what I mean. Let's go here, and let's just go, instead of a cube, let's go to a cylindrical shape. And let's just go the opposite direction. Okay, so that's going to be our starter. And let's soften it up a bit. Scale it up a bit. Yeah, that'll be our starter. Okay. And the next one is going to be, whoops, going to block in to create, well, what I can do actually, just for the beginning of this. Let's just bring him in a little bit. So he's just overlapping a little bit, right? As I put in these bigger shapes. Let's just do this. Okay, that'll work. That way I'm not all over the place. And then I know that I'm taking up the volume of the form. So like in this case, I want it to be not all the way across, but like around here. And then I want to come down a little further. And I'm going to soften them up a little bit. Just like that. Good. All right. That makes more sense. And now what we're going to do is like side of his arm and his tricep area. Let's shift D. And we're going to load in. Let's see how far we can get with some of these cool new shapes here. Let's go with the trapezoid guy. And he... Oh. Come on, trapezoid. Help me out. Where are you at? Yep. And which way are you resizing? This way? Go the other way. Nope. On your Z, let's go 90. This can be like the tricep side of the arm section. And we're going to add just a little bevel onto them. Just for right now. Let's go in and, yeah, let's get some height. I want it to curve here eventually, right here. So let's go 0.1. Or maybe his bevel can be a little bit like that. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I'm starting to, that's already falling into what I'm envisioning, but I see my proportions, right? So this arm is gonna be big and bulky. Big, this is a big bulky arm. So let's go ahead and move. That's exactly why I did that. So let's pull them down here because this rotator joint's gonna be here. This is big. This diameter of this guy is big. Like that. It's really thick. Let's move it down. Not that thick. Right. Always want it to start at the shoulder. So it's like that. Maybe even, yeah, about that. Heavy unit. Heavy unit. It's like a mech armor suit. Or exosuit. For heavier unit. Yeah. All right. And that's why I like the SDF is the move. Particularly if you're a sub D modeler type person or something like that. Even though we can make all of this stuff in sub D, but you can't go backward, and it's very hard to make adjustments when you're doing like when you're doing real simple geometric shapes. Actually, that's where sub D. Some people say, well, don't use sub D, just use faceted, right? But if you're working in sub D, you can make the most beautiful bevels and stuff like that. But you're on a one-way train. Very destructive workflow. So Conjure just going straight, or SDF, but Conjure, I have to mention it because it's so nice working with it inside of Blender. I've used the other SDF type of apps that are coming out, and none of them, because Conjure allows you to be able to set up, conjures within Blender. That means however you work in Blender is the way you'll be able to work in Conjure. As far as your keystrokes and stuff like that, which is a big deal. That's all about the intuitive aspect of modeling. And no, you don't keep changing up all the time, because if this is your career or something, you don't want to have like all these different keys with different softwares and all the other stuff like that. Maybe as a student that may be fun, but not when you're rocking and rolling in the really real world. All right, so enough talking about that. Let me see. Yeah, good. We're saving. Good. And I see I have there's like a bin. I'm just gonna put a proxy right now for it for the bicep. There's like a let me see, Shift D. And I'm a sub D moto modeler guy. From using Lightwave and stuff way back in the 90s. And then as soon as Moto came out 101, I was right on it, blah, 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 blah. So that's why I'll always say, oh, Blender is just too clunky, right? But I like it. It's just as clunky as modeling in 3D Studio Max. It's simple. It's the equivalent, in my view. But there's so many good tools and there's so many other things that you can use within Blender. So the only thing is, so can you do SDF in Blender? And if you can, then that's all she wrote. All right. This guy, this cylindrical shape here, it's going to be, let me see, do I want to switch them up? I wonder if I want to go with toroid. Let's play around with that. Let's go with the the new capped toroid. And if I can, don't do that. Let's go here. All right, let's go 180. And this is my setup, so there's no one's recommending this setup. This is how, after using Conjure for a couple of things, I like to go back and forth to the properties panel, and I like to be able to actually, I like to have it right here for when I'm really going with it. So I'm nesting really fast and go. I like to hit nest. I don't want to set a shortcut key for it. I like to just pop it and go, pop it and go, kind of a thing. So let's see with our new guy here. Oh, I can't see the other tool for it. Where is oh, it's here. I'm looking to. I'm thinking it's here at the tip, but it's not. But and you go, well, because I want to make a bicepy shapey thingy like that. That's exactly what I want to make, just like that. Without, you know, we could have done it and had it nested in a certain way, blah blah. But if we could avoid that with having a good basic shape, then there you go. Yeah. So I'm gonna use it as a placeholder right now because the one I have, the one I want to use is ribbed, right? But this is gonna be a good start for it. And it is this shape. That's cool. All right. Probably do a lot with this. Bring it down. Okay, blend. Now Blender's being blended, and I have to hold shift down. All right, that's fine. And thicken them up. I had it already. I'm over here messing it up. I'll move this guy over in a second. Normally, when I'm going in here and just to talk it out a little bit, let me save, is I found it very important to name stuff because once you get into really flowing with Conjure, you're going to have a lot of parts, of course. And so you got to use your outliner. And of course you have your outliner here for Conjure, but you got to use, I found you have to use your outliner like a nice, clean, organized system. So Conjure base really should be shoulder for what we're doing now. And until you got positive cause, and you say tricep. Hopefully I spelled that right. All right, let's call it try for right now. And keep it short. Put a bicep. Okay. And of course that's our sub D object that we're our reference, and we'll just call it sub D ref. Okay. Keep it organized because there's gonna be a lot of parenting and stuff like that once the real cutting and stuff begins. All right. And so I want one more thing, like a cylinder, like a hardcore, like not a piston system. Well, it could start as that. So I'm gonna throw a pill back there, a pill shape. So let's go here. And that's the cool thing about SDF, working with SDF is you can experiment as you're working, while polygonal modeling or sub-D modeling, there's not a lot of experimenting. It's actually doing, and then once it's done, and then you move on to the next thing. But because this is non-destructive, there's a lot of good experimentation that you can do. So we're going to go with hello. All right, let's just bring him in, and he's going to be like a quasi piston. He's going to be the beginning of a piston section. Right now it's just a pill, but we're going to break it up. We're not So we're just kind of blocking in right now. We're going to break it up because that piston is going to connect to a, it's going to be like here and here. Yeah, once you move the arm out the way, we'll center everything up better. And matter of fact, we'll get that adjustment before we start cutting up everybody, because that's things start getting in the way. And it also symbolizes like the tricep. So this is going to be like a piston section. Let's bring it up a little longer, like that. Not the exact length of here. Let's put a rotator. I already know I want to go with, let me save that, Shift D. And go with, now I always use Shift D. So your Shift X makes original box and or original shape, and it's going to start in the center. Shift D is going to, it duplicates it here. That's what I like to do. No one's saying to do it. And I'm just going to go with, well, let's go with the, should we go with the big cylinder? Let's just start with the big cylinder. Let's go back there. And since he's already already the shape you want. So, and he is going to be, so that's right, matter of fact, that's right where the elbow is. This is our rotator. We're gonna have a piston drop. That's gonna go right into there, somewhere into there, but that rotator is gonna have some help. So I'm gonna Shift D. Let's bring it on up. Should just use X so I don't lose my positioning. Let's go with, it's just gonna be a cube shape. Yeah, it's going to help out with the piston, because the piston is going to go up into the piston. Is that the right logical thing I'm thinking? It's going to aid it with the rotator. This is going to be the juncture where the rotator is going to connect with it. I can make it a little bit thinner. Like there, like that. That's not the final shape. This is just the good block for it. So now I got that tricep area, got the bicep area. The matter of fact, I can probably get away with moving the elbow up a little bit further, like there. This is gonna be cut away nicely. Save that. Okay, and then let's just throw down the forearm. Well, I think that's pretty good. Let's pause right here, and I'm going to pick up on another one. All right, let's move on down now to, we got the elbow rotator in place. Let's move down to the forearm, but the elbow rotator, let me just go ahead and add. It's going to have an additional piece here. Not an additional piece, but it's going to just remind myself that it has some additional elements. So it's not just a cylinder just being cut up, some additional elements that are going to be falling into place there. And see, this is why I like to be able to come back. Let me see, shoulder. This should be tri. Who's that tri? That's not the tricep. Obviously, it's not tricep. But we'll go here. We'll call it tri-piston. Just for starters. It's important for me to, being organized is important. Elbow rotator. Because sometimes, well, when we're dealing with the SDF and we Conjure, when we have multiple shapes that overlap each other, we need to either use the outliner, traditional outliner, or the outliner here. But if you don't know what name, if you don't know the name of your object, it's like going through. It's literally just like working with bones. You have a whole hierarchy worth of bones, and you don't know which one is which. So you're going through all the different bones, clicking and clicking and clicking or something. So we don't want to do that. All right. We just called this elbow piston. Elbow piston. Yeah. And that way, elbow piston. It's not the piston, but it's going to be related to it. And there's this elbow rotator to okay, let's pull this out just a little bit. And then when this drops, when all this starts getting cut up and everything, we're going to have these nice long hierarchies. So that's why I have my outliner laid out the way that it is. Everything, this whole layout is just for working with Conjure. I like, once again, it's like this will be the listing and hierarchical structure of all the Conjure elements. This is the Conjure properties, and I don't have it saved in my startup, so it keeps on coming this way, so I have to fix it. So I like to be able to go directly to from here, working here, to particularly is for the transform. I know I could put the transform someplace else, but I like to have it right here because I'm usually going straight to the transform numerically to be accurate or something. Then I'm jumping right up to the blends and stuff. So I like to have that right next to it. And then my secondary move of things of importance is generally going to be the nesting. I don't really use the outline editor in that way, besides looking to see who's nested maybe. But I don't like to use, I don't want to set up a nest key. I like to be able to hit an actual, for this particular case, I want to hit a button. And just keep on rolling like that. And then of course, I'm utilizing Zen sets. You'll see that later on and how that works out with this. And pseudo object layer, which is very important and allows me more control over locking objects out. Even though yes, Zen does it too, but I don't use Zen for the locking out. I use Zen for for naming, for visually, for callouts and color relationship as far as the selection sets are concerned. And we'll see what that looks like later on when we start getting deeper into this thing. Okay, so here we go. At the elbow, got the elbow rotator in there. All this is going to be moved around a little bit, but it's allowing me to. I don't want to use the term block in, but it's allowing me to get this set up. Let's just pull that in there a little bit, huh, buddy? A little smaller. And see, without my own geometry, without proportionally as a guide, I wouldn't even realize at that moment to move it down. Matter of fact, the elbow probably would be way down here or something. It's only because you're focused on these individual things, and so it's easy to lose track of the overall thing. And that's just the nature of whenever you're working with individual parts. When you're working in sub D, you're not working with individual parts. You're working with a form that is growing through beveling and cutting. This is working with Conjure or a system like this is not working with a form that's growing. You're working with separate elements that you're harmonizing together, bringing together in a harmonic way. So let's where's our forearm? All this talking. Let's work with. Let's go with the shape again. It's our favorite shape. And I guess I'm rotating on. I don't know what my rotations are here. Blah blah. No. Yes. Now I normally don't use numerics for transforming and stuff like that, but it's really good to use it with Conjure, and is very handy It makes just everything just easier. We're going for this is a heavy unit, so he has this big, massive forearm. So this is going to be moved eventually, and it's not soft up like that. Matter of fact, if we turn off, we just turn it on 0.05. Okay, all this is going to be regulated. We'll make them soft right now. 0.1. Yeah, okay, we'll do it like that. And it's pretty fat. I'm looking at my thing here. And it's not going to be, and see, as I'm working on the shape, I'm not thinking about what proportion it is, right? So it actually comes down. All right, it's not blending. It's not blending with any of this stuff. It's just it's gonna have a cut in it. So so what am I doing? I'm gonna cut for it already. Let's use, wait a minute. I was just gonna cut here. I was gonna go, cause I want to cut right here, right? I want to cut in this section. So I was just gonna go and oopsie, who am I making here? See, I shift X and I didn't want to do that. But let's say I did this, right? But I want to use the new feature that it has. So I was just gonna go like this, and because I'm just, we're just starting out the stuff, right? And I was just gonna cut in here like this, and I said, wait a minute, let's use the new feature, so that way we can at least be rolling in the right direction, and then we see where it takes us. It may work out later on. It may work out. May and may not work out later on. This is actually where it's going to be connecting to the roller. That's why it is the way it is right there. Technically, I don't want to be cutting so early, but this should be fun. I'll leave it right there so I can actually see what happens. All right, so we're going to take this shape, take it out of the cut, and let's make it, I don't want to make it anything complex right now. We're just going to go make it a cylinder, right? And let me see, it's kind of like another piston-y kind of contraption I have in there. But we want to cut there, and we're going to use flip blending. Come on, flip blending. Flip blending and strength. Isn't that a beast? Isn't that, let's make a fillet. Just not that big. Smaller. Isn't that cool? Because it's a piece that fits in, and it's pretty pretty daggone close to the other surface, and so it's going to be like this. So, matter of fact, that's going to work out really well. Actually, the cut's a little bit bigger, but I like how I'll get that wrap here. The wrap is not like this in my original drawing at all. It doesn't wrap around like that, but I kind of like the fact that it does do that. Now, his bevel is not going to affect that, but his bevel, I can sharpen him later too. Is going to affect it? No one's going to affect that fillet. So I'm just making sure, seeing where I want to wind up, kind of being strategic, and I don't want it rounded. Do I? No, it's gonna be too Gumby. I like to fillet. So right now we'll because it kind of less geometry being used, or less objects being used. So, and it's gonna go right there, somewhere in there like that, because all this carries over. His arm's gonna be pretty thick. Right now, look, that is not thick, but it's gonna be pretty thick. And let's go here, and falling down to the wrist well, but he's running a little too thick. And piston arm, piston-y kind of look. Let's just bring that in a little bit more. You know how long it'll be to model that. This is why I just love this, man. SDF is just like it to me. It is as important as subdivision surfaces is and was important to polygonal modeling. I mean, SDF it turns hard surface modeling into a joy. If you want to call it hard surface modeling, it's almost like hard surface assembling. Not kit bashing, but assembling. Because you're not modeling the form. You're not beveling this out. Like I can't say, hey, I'm gonna want the cylinder, I want to bevel out on it, and then I'm gonna sit there and cut it up some more. And that's not how it's gonna work. That's not how SDF rolls. All right, we'll flirt with this. I'll leave this right here. Let me go ahead and name it out. See, we have hierarchy slowly starting, but it's really not kicking in yet. Cylinder, and this is going to be form. And yeah. All right. So anyway, we'll leave it for right now. And I know I have a cut down there. I know I have a cut down here, but oh, and we got his hand, and of course I bent the elbow for my own reference. I'm glad I did, so now I understand clearly where the elbow is lying, and it probably can go a little bit lower. I can go a little bit lower. Hey, don't do that. Let's get the rotator. And these two should, this guy should be parented to him. So we're going to start doing that now. There you go. All right, move that group down. And let's go ahead and extend him. I think I have him backward, using it backward. All right. Okay. And then this is going to extend down further. All right, there you go. Like that. Right. And then I probably want to move them back up again because there's not this big gap. And we got some wiring. And I probably want to put in some cabling and all that stuff in there. Let's move him up though. No, not you. Him. All right, we'll come back. We'll come back and see if we're going to keep that. All right, and let's go on down to the. I don't have a wrist rotator right now. Matter of fact, let's move the arm out the way. Hello, sub D. All right, so matter of fact, since we did that already, let's go in. He's going to want having a ball socket here. So let's just go ahead and put that in. Spherical. All right. And let's use flip blending. Let's go to fillet. Let's increase that. And automatically you start to get something. Especially with these shapes that need to just fit right in there. Right, so he has like a ball socket. We can come back and change it. We don't want it Gumby, but it'll just remind me of what's supposed to be going on. Even though we're probably gonna move it over. Let's move it over already, because his shoulder is gonna be like here. All right, and let's go ahead and just continue to widen some stuff out. And this is on the outer, and we'll figure out the. Let's just widen this out here. Well, that's pretty good. And let's just bring out this back to our piston. Our piston section, center it up a little bit. And I like the SDF because it's a calmer way of working. Everything's different, you know. When you're doing sub D, whenever like when I'm doing sub D modeling, like I'll have my character modeling vids up, you know, I'll be doing all that stuff, and so that's like one big. It's like riding a wave, right, from beginning to end. Like I call it bashing. Where you're just bashing through the sub D shapes and stuff like that, right? And for me, it's very intuitive. So it has more of a. It's very intuitive. So you feel the momentum of when you're modeling. You feel this. You feel when you're in the flow and all this. When I'm doing Conjure or SDF type stuff like this, then it's more of a meditative workflow. It's not like bang, 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 and then keep on rolling. It gives you the opportunity, because it's non-destructive, it gives the opportunity to contemplate shape placement more than you would. You have more opportunity to do it than you do when you're working. If you were doing hard surface modeling for this in sub D, you basically would be pointing your sights and then going full steam towards that direction. It's not, you wouldn't have a lot of pausing and going, well, wait a minute, does that curve really work? Let me try another curve or another this or another kind of fillet. And you kind of need to know, like, in advance when you're working in sub D, like what the heck you're doing. But this type of approach to creating three-dimensional forms gives you that. It's more paced than sub D modeling, because you have technical things where looking at your hierarchies and all that stuff. But at the same time, it's very open when it comes to like how you want to go about creating stuff. So you're not locked in to any particular direction. You're not locked at all. So, all right, it's something like this. It's yeah, because this is the inner forearm that bulges out from us naturally. So I'm just looking at the shape as for it to make logical sense. This is going to wind up being two pieces. Anyway, let me just scrunch this one over. It's going to be, where's the inner one? Yeah, I think, okay, this is going to be the part of the rotator. It's going to be like this. Shift D. Stop talking about it, just do it. It's going to be like that. And this rotator attaches to this guy down here. So he needs like a stub or something that's going, it's this piece here that's going to attach to it. So I'm just going to put a block in there. I am going to do a Shift X for it. That just gives me a new shape. And so let's just scrunch them in there already. So you see, I'm thinking more. Matter of fact, this whole entire process is thinking about the design, not about Conjure or SDF models or any shapes or anything like that. It's literally like, okay, what's the function of this? Which is so cool. It allows you to be able to really get involved in that part of the process. So ideal for concepting stuff out, and even doing it live. This could be done. I'm going slow as molasses here, but this can be great live demo tool or team concepting. You know, when you're trying to figure out some ideas and shapes or designs for something. Hey, why are you going with it? You? Oh, why are you parented, dude? Well, I guess he should be. Move over this way. I'll go with that. All right. So we're going to have, and so this, some piston driver, this driver or something. This is not the piston. That's just like a connecting point. The piston is going to be the piston type thing is going to be up in there. Let me just size it. Probably don't want to putting somebody in here to cut. Let's get rid of the bevel. And let's just get rid of the bevel on him, just so I can see the actual size here. Yeah, because he's running too fat. I'm just going to leave a gap, just so I see for later on. Come on, guy. Okay. I'm just going to leave a gap for right now, just so I see exactly where it is and stuff. And no, it's not going to have this giant belly button looking thing. But that just reminds me once again of what's to come. I will give it a little bit of a bevel. 0.05. No. 0.5. 0.05. There you go. So at least catches some light. There you go. Like that. Okay? Okay. All right. Yeah. And then we'll work our way down to the hand.